Good morning, good morning. Guess we're right on time. Camera's ready to roll? Pete, you got your tripod today? All right. Again, not a fun day in the office on a Sunday after getting beat by a really good Florida State team. But, the one thing I look at the tape, and I thought this after the game, and you feel better, is, just the effort that our kids played with. I mean, I think they played with a lot of passion, a lot of effort. And, you kind of go back and watch just the way they play, how hard they play. Now, did we do everything right? Not as coaches or players, but they played hard. I don't think there was not one loaf on special teams, and we were at 98% effort on both offense and defense, 97.9, I believe, to be exact. Not many loafs. I mean, the kids are playing their tails off. I think we had 32 guys with over 18-mile-an-hour GPS, so that tells you we had 28 the week before, and 28 was pretty good. So not that the speed will tell you what's going on in the game, but as always, there's things that we need to fix, and we're continually trying to fix them and plug in the holes. It's a team loss. It's everybody. It starts with me. As I tell you every week, you're probably sick of hearing it, but it does. I look at one of the critical errors I made late in the game, and I shouldn't say late in the game, but maybe end of third quarter, fourth quarter, just to give you an example of things that, you want to always save your timeouts in a close game, but it was a close game at the time, and you want to save those timeouts, and and it was stupid where I saved the timeout, and I could have called on the one touchdown they passed. They threw the tight end. They had last me kind of late, they knew what it was, and they didn't see our guys covering it properly because it was a trick play. We call it a fight song play, where the tight end is lined up as an offensive tackle. I don't know if you guys saw it or didn't even notice it. But they kind of knew it, and I was like, I didn't know why they wanted a timeout. But I'm like, we can't just use timeouts for defense to get lined up. But and it ends up being a touchdown. So regret. I should have called a timeout there. So, but there's those things, all over the place, coaching wise, and it really, gets you when it's a good football team. I think, offensively they did a great job, with some of their unbalanced stuffs and the motions and some of the things they did to get what they wanted. Our defense coach did a good job adjusting as the game went on. But it's just like you're one step behind someone that's doing something you've never seen them do before on tape. But as I told our guys, it's a game of inches. Okay, and we talked about last week, like we got to win the inches, and it is a game of inches. And you just look, we watched special teams in here last night, and you watch, Biles got his hand on another punt, right? I mean, official gives you one of those, but he gets a little bit more of an inch on that ball. It's a block in the end zone, maybe 6 points, 7 points. They muff a punt. We're running down on a punt. We got great coverage. Gandy makes a big hit. Ball comes out, but the ball happens to just roll right out of bounds, right on the sideline. Can't the ball bounce into the middle of the field so we can get it? And then you look at the offense side of the ball. When we do fumble, we don't fumble out of bounds. We fumble inbounds so they can recover it twice. So there's just little things like that, and then the big run in the second half, and we gave up just two big plays in the second half. You look at defensively, played a pretty unbelievable first half, and then the second half was pretty good except for two plays. That one I should have called a timeout and banged a timeout, and one big run where we just lose a gap. And there's 77 plays where you try not to lose a gap, and we did a pretty solid job, versus the run, except for that one big run. But it cost you, and that's why it takes 11 guys, and someone hopefully would have been able to cover it, but we just didn't get it done. So with that, we're moving on to New York City and in the Yankee Stadium in Syracuse, which is always a close game. And Dino Babers, a good friend of mine that we always look forward to playing each other. Again, a good football team. They start off 4-0, and they've had a string of losses here, in the ACC, and it's not easy. So it'll be a battle, period. I mean, it'll be a battle. I think it'll be a heck of a game in New York City. So questions?
Yeah, what's going about the offense? What are some of the hard things?
I don't know what my juice went for, EJ. EJ stole it. It's a little bit of everything. There's times, we spent 3 hours watching the tape yesterday with the offense and just looking at little detail things, but it's the details. It's some young guys. I mean, I think, again, we talk about just, it's a little bit of everything. I mean, there's things we could do better coaching-wise, and there's things we can do better, as far as just fundamentally and structurally. There's some third downs, like I'm looking at third down, I analyze the heck out of every third down, and sometimes they got a good call, sometimes, we don't execute, and we got to get the ball to the right guy at the right time, and again, just it's always something you can do better when you watch tape, and you look back and hindsight, man, I wish we'd have tried that. It's just like, you don't get a second chance.
How did you feel Christian dealt with pressure, especially on third downs? There were some times that there was a free rusher coming through, other times guys like Burst just won their matchups. How did you see him handle that as far as what you wanted to grow?
I don't know what you want me to tell you, Chris. You wish he'd throw great under pressure, but it's something he's a young guy. He's gonna figure it out. He's got to read the progress. He's got to get through his progression and make the throw. But I would say third down was probably no different than first or second down. We just got to get the ball to the right guy and look to the right side, know where you're going. And I think it's just being young.
Just having a chance to watch the game back and see all the penalties and everything. What do you think is the issue with some of the penalties, like the false starts on offense and just those self-imposed errors? Why do you think those are happening so late in the season?
It's beyond me. I mean, we had three defensive penalties. The targeting at the end. We had two. Really all three were aggressive penalties on defense. The rest were on offense, and one on special team where we had number 5 on there got declined anyway. A late adjustment to putting a guy in the field, so I don't even count that one. But we have a delay game early, substitution error on the sideline where we're just trying to get it's a delay game, but getting the guy not hearing it and him getting out of the sideline late. So it's making sure those guys are right behind you when you call that personnel grouping they're in. We had 4 false starts and 2 of them were on Sebo, Captain Sebo, which you don't expect to see it out of your senior tailback. And defense looks like he's blitzing and he just kind of gets anxious, and sometimes it happens. You hope it doesn't happen ever, and you especially don't want it to happen in a big game. And you wish those kinks would be out early. You got another one on Zabovic. It looks like 2 of them are on Zabovic, but one's on Zabovic, one's on Terrence Moore because Terrence doesn't snap the ball. So it looks like it's Blake, but it's not. Visually, and I don't know who the officials might have called it on Blake, but they're not right there either because they don't know when the ball is supposed to be snapped. We do. So that sideline penalty, I can't tell you about that one. And Branson had 2 holding penalties. Those 2 defensive ends are about as athletic as you get. One he grabs and pulls the guy down, and again, it doesn't look like a holding, but it is. You can't throw a guy down. It looks like you're grabbing him, but their tight end on one of their screens grabs and throws a guy down. And there's no call. I just want it to be consistent, but the guy had no factor in the play. But we got to clean it up. It's a penalty, and we got to clean them up, and that's pretty much the gist of what those are. And they got to get cleaned up. And we were good a week ago, I believe. And you go up and down.
On Gavin's penalty, do you know what they were reviewing after the call?
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
To talk more about third down, just looking at the last couple of weeks, it's obviously been rough. Do you feel like as a staff you guys are putting your guys in the best situation possible on third down?
You never do. That's why I say it's coaches and players. I mean, obviously, if we're not converting on third down, we're not putting them in position, And again, whether it's making us think too much and the quarterback's, got too many options, whatever it is, we got to do a better job as coaches, and then they got to do a better job executing. It's a team deal, and and again, it's coaches and players just like everything is. So yeah, we got to do a better job putting them in position.
Rodney took the majority of the carries on Saturday. What did you like the way up?
Rodney was running. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. Like I said, we got 2 starting tailbacks. That's why they both get announced. And love Rodney, love Sebo, and it's kind of Rodney was hitting it hard, and not that Sebo wasn't. It was just we felt good with Sebo and we ran with it.
Another big game for Bub. I mean, just really over the last 5 games, I think it's 4 touchdowns. Seems to be productive. Is he getting more consistent though, or do you feel like there's still plays that he's kind of leaving out there?
No, I think Bub is being real consistent. I really do. He may start off a little bit inconsistent in the season, but he's been pretty detailed. He's catching the ball well. You wish you would have finished that last one. Who knows? Maybe he had another touchdown in that last drive. You can't score when you don't have the ball. But I think there's 3:50 to go in the game, and he's doing a great job catching the ball. He's doing a good job running routes, and I think we're real happy with Bub right now.
Brandon played very well. Are there different situations or different opponents that he's better suited for?
Yeah, maybe, Jerry. I mean, I think he's suited for everything. It's just like last couple of weeks he started to come on, And Coach Manlock's done a good job, but just continue to develop him and talk to him about what he needs to do. And Brandon's done it. He's just like, we went into that game saying, based on the last 2 weeks, practice-wise, you're playing physical. He's just getting downhill. He's not thinking too much. I think he's thinking too much sometimes, so we've gotten the thinking out of it and started to use his physical ability more than, we're not worried about his mind right now. Like, read your keys. It ain't that hard. Get downhill and smack someone in the mouth. That's what we want to do, and that's what he's been doing, and it's, I think he's, with his 10 tackles and 2.5 TFLs and all that stuff, I think it's starting to pay off for him where he's going, hey, it's working, just play football. It ain't that hard.
Now, have you seen the progression of your safeties? You got guys coming in the season looking for new blood there with the guys you sent to the NFL. Have you seen that group grow this year?
Yeah, I think little by little we're gaining experience back there, playing more and more guys. You saw Cuse back there. I think I told you he was going to get in the game. And Steph Hall's gotten in and got some valuable reps as well. So it's good to see those guys grow. I think it helps them during the week practicing wise because they got some and then they go out and they're a little bit more bright eyed and ready to practice and be ready for the next week. But I think when you look at Donovan, PJ, and Javon, the three guys that are playing a ton of football back there, I think they've little by little gotten better. I know Donovan, kicks himself in the head with a couple missed tackles, that one on 84 over the middle, and he's been our best, most consistent tackler. So you don't see that very often. He's got to take one more step a few times and come across the thigh boards, even an early tackle. So he had a couple missed tackles, which is uncharacteristic of him. But I think overall, little by little to get better. I'd like to see, Javon have a couple interceptions. I think he's had an opportunity for at least 3 interceptions. So that's the, game of inches. There's another inch that, he could change the game with a pick right there at the 50-yard line, whatever it was. But we got to take advantage of that.
Rylan Gandy played. Really the last 2 weeks he's played a decent amount of snaps late in the game. Will you try and keep doing that over the next 3 weeks to get him more?
Yeah, we will. First of all, he's done one unbelievable job on special teams. You saw the big hit. The things that people don't notice is, sometimes him running down on punt team. And the other thing they don't notice is what he's doing to their gunners on our Rangers unit, our punt block team, whatever you want to call it. Nobody shut down their gunners all year. Of running down the field. No one touched them. They just kind of ran by whoever was out there covering them every snap. And if you go back and watch the videotape, and you talk about effort, he's wiring them up at the line of scrimmage. It's like, whoa. They couldn't. No one blocked him all year, and he did. And obviously that was pointed out last night, in front of the entire team on how he's playing.
Is it encouraging to see stuff like that from Rylan, considering that you got 3 starters?
Yeah, and it's probably long awaited. Maybe we should have got it started, as coaches, a little bit, earlier. We got, and again, I think, we mentioned it 3 weeks ago. We just we got to get him going, because he's, you're always scared as a coach. We're all trying to win football games, and you go back to the opener. You guys remember the opener? He got pushed over, and then you're like, oh gosh, you get afraid. And we got to, coaches can't be afraid. He's a really good player. He's athletic. He's tough. He's reliable. I love Rylan Gandy, and he's just going to continue to get better, I think, as the more we get to play him.
You find a way to get a lot of young guys in the game in a lot of different positions. You're going to try maybe get Nate into the game a little bit, quarterback?
I don't know. Haven't thought about it. Good question for Coach Signetti.
Coach, you've obviously been at Yankee Stadium before, back in 2016 in the Pinstripe Bowl. What are the logistics and the difficulties, or maybe the interesting positives about coaching in a baseball stadium?
I think they've measured properly. It's a 100-yard field, and some of the end zones get a little tight if you're throwing a 7 right into the pylon. But I don't know if it'll be a big difference. It's a historic site. It's Yankee Stadium. It's the middle of Brooklyn, I think, right? It's Brooklyn. The Bronx. Sorry, guys. The Bronx. I don't know how many times I've been there. A dozen times. You think I know where the heck it is? In the Bronx, I know how to drive there, it's a great place to play. We're excited to go.
Does it change your guys' preparation process at all, being an in-season neutral site game? You never really have done that before since beginning.
No, it really doesn't. It's their home game, so we'll wear the white jerseys, and there's nothing really changes there.
Do you think just playing in an atmosphere like this gives the guys a little bit of extra juice? Do you think they appreciate the opportunity to play at Yankee Stadium?
I think anybody from New York will appreciate it. I think baseball fans will appreciate it. I don't know if guys that don't watch baseball really appreciate it. I don't know. I know my mom loves the Yankees, so I'm kind of excited to go back for her. So,
Are you a baseball fan?
not really.
But I mean, kind of in a different environment, a different type of environment, though, just by the sake of being different, create a different kind of energy, a different kind of jump for the team.
I hope they have energy because they get to play another Saturday. You know, if we need a new environment to play good, Chris, then we got problems.
How about one or two more? You and Chris?
Pat,
You
just-
stuttered around, Jerry.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, Chris. You're up. He didn't have a real question, Eddie.
They did.
But we kind of talked about this last week with practices, but what have you seen from guys coming in the film room, coming in talking, you know, you guys are 2-7, it's, you know, it's now a losing season because you guys can't get to the 500 mark. But what have you seen from your guys coming in, staying focused, and maybe some of the leaders trying to say, hey, we got to finish strong this year?
You know, I hope they're doing that in the locker room, but like when you walk through these meeting rooms, if you walk down the back, I was in a defensive staff meeting, I walked out and I hear all this noise next door. The O-line's in there watching tape together, all of them. You know, the D-line's over here watching tape. I didn't hit every room. Some guys are studying down these other hallways, but, you know, they all have their times that they come in, whether it's before brunch or after brunch or in the afternoon, depending on classes that they get in and watch tape. So, you know, nothing will change there. Our guys are going to continue to compete and try to win a football game.
Jerry, go ahead. You can conclude this session.
I was going to make if Connor and Peterman don't get hurt, you win the last time in Yankee Stadium, right?
You know, I don't know. I don't have a magic, you know, crystal ball. I mean, I would hope so, but like I don't know. You know, I can't say that they won. So you would hope if Peterman played and James played, that would have been nice. That's a long time ago, Jerry.
8 years.
7. Who's counting? 16.
Anything else?
I was 16.
Nothing
Coach,
else?
thank you very much.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you all. 16.